Let's talk about memory. You probably think it's something you're just born with. You either have a good one or you don't. And school? They just tell you to study harder, reread the chapter, maybe use some flashcards. But what if I told you there's a whole world of powerful, almost secret memory techniques that most classrooms never touch? These aren't just study tips. They're systematic methods used by memory champions, ancient scholars, and experts in cognitive science to remember vast amounts of information with incredible precision. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the first few. This isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter with the way your brain is actually wired. First up, we have the method of Loci, also known as the memory palace. This one is ancient, dating back to Greek and Roman orators who needed to deliver long speeches without notes. The principle is simple but brilliant. You leverage your brain's incredible spatial memory. You take a place you know extremely well, like your childhood home or your daily commute. Now you mentally walk through that familiar location and place the items you need to remember, be it a grocery list, the points of a presentation, or a series of historical dates, at specific spots along the route. The crazier and more vivid the image, the better. Need to remember to buy milk, eggs, and bread? Imagine a giant milk carton pouring over your front door, a chicken sitting on your sofa laying eggs, and a loaf of bread toasting itself in your fireplace. When you need to recall the list, you just take that mental walk again. Your spatial memory does the heavy lifting, retrieving the bizarre images you planted. It works because our brains evolved to remember locations and images long before they had to remember abstract facts. Next, let's talk about spaced repetition. School teaches cramming. You have a test Friday, so you study Thursday night. The information goes into your short-term memory, you ace the test, and by Monday, it's gone. Spaced repetition is the antidote to that. It's the systematic review of information at increasing intervals. Think of it like building a brick wall. Cramming is slapping all the mortar on at once. It looks solid for a second, but it never sets properly. Spaced repetition is laying a brick, letting it cure, then adding the next layer. You review new information after one day, then maybe 3 days later, then a week, then a month. Each time you successfully recall it, the memory trace in your brain gets stronger and more durable. This is why apps like Anki are so effective. They automate this timing for you, showing you flashcards right before your brain is about to forget. It's not magic. It's the scheduling of forgetting and remembering to cement knowledge for the long term. Now, here's a counterintuitive one. The Feynman technique. Named after the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman, this isn't just a memory technique, it's a deep learning technique. And deep learning creates the strongest memories. The process is deceptively simple. Choose a concept you want to remember and understand. Explain it out loud or write it down, as if you were teaching it to a complete novice, a child, or someone with no background in the subject. No jargon allowed. As you try to do this, you will immediately hit gaps in your own understanding. You'll find the places where your knowledge is fuzzy, where you're parroting terms without truly grasping the why. That's the gold. When you identify those gaps, you go back to your source material, study just those weak points, and then try to explain it again simply. This cycle of teach, identify gaps, relearn, and reteach forces your brain to consolidate information into clear foundational models, not just fragile, disconnected facts. You're not memorizing a definition, you're building a story you can retell. And that's incredibly sticky. Our fourth technique is mnemonics, but beyond the acronym. Sure, you learned PEMDAS for order of operations, or ROYGBIV for the colors of the rainbow. But the real power of mnemonics is in crafting vivid, sensory, and often absurd associative stories. This is sometimes called a link or story method. Let's say you need to remember a random list of words. Violin, hurricane, candle, Brazil. Instead of repeating them, you weave them into a brief, unforgettable narrative. Picture a violin playing a stormy tune, summoning a hurricane inside your living room. The winds blow out a giant candle, whose wax melts into the shape of Brazil on your floor. The sequence is now locked in, because you've created a cause and effect chain. Your brain is terrible at remembering isolated data points, but phenomenal at remembering narratives and sequences. By giving a list a logical or illogical story, you give your memory a structure to hold on to. This is why we remember movie plots better than phone numbers. Context and connection are everything. We've just scratched the surface with these four. The spatial power of the memory palace, the strategic timing of spaced repetition, the deep understanding of the Feynman technique, and the connective power of story-based mnemonics. These methods work because they don't fight your brain's natural tendencies, they cooperate with them. They transform abstract, forgettable information into concrete, spatial, narrative, or deeply understood knowledge. But we're not done yet. The remaining techniques delve even deeper into how we can use our senses, our bodies, and even deliberate forgetfulness to become masters of our own memory. The fifth technique is multi-sensory encoding. Your brain has multiple pathways for memory: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, even olfactory. The more senses you involve, the stronger the memory trace. It's not enough to just read about the French Revolution. What if you read the text aloud, recording your voice? That's auditory. Then you sketch a quick timeline or a comic strip of key events. That's visual and kinesthetic. For a vocabulary word like ephemeral, you don't just define it. You say it with a whisper, imagining something fleeting, like a soap bubble popping on your skin. You attach a sensation to the concept. This is why hands-on learning is so powerful. By physically doing something, you create a motor memory that's incredibly durable. Think of it as building a memory with multiple layers of reinforcement, like steel rebar in concrete. Number 6 might seem counterintuitive: deliberate forgetting or spacing with interference. This isn't about erasing memories, but about strategically letting information become a little fuzzy to force a stronger recovery. Here's how it works. You study a topic, then instead of immediately reviewing it, you switch to a completely different, even slightly confusing subject. You introduce what's called interference. Then you return to the original material. That struggle to retrieve it, that feeling of, "Oh, I almost had it," is where the real magic happens. That act of reconstruction, of pulling the memory back from the edge, strengthens the neural pathway far more than easy, repeated exposure. It's the cognitive equivalent of lifting a heavier weight with more effort. You're not avoiding review. You're engineering the conditions for a more powerful recall workout. Finally, Technique 7. The Protégé effect, or teaching from day one. This is the Feynman technique on steroids. The moment you begin learning something new, you adopt the mindset that you will have to teach it to someone else tomorrow. This completely changes your focus. You're no longer a passive consumer of information, hunting for what might be on a test. You become an active architect of understanding, looking for the core logic, the common pitfalls, the clearest analogies. You organize the information in a teachable structure. Even if you never actually teach another person, the act of preparing to do so forces you to identify gaps in your own knowledge immediately. It turns learning from a solo sprint into a collaborative journey, even if the student is an imaginary one. So, we have our 7. From the ancient architecture of the memory palace to the modern science of spaced repetition. From the clarifying force of the Feynman technique to the binding power of story, enhanced by our senses, tested by strategic struggle, and solidified by the responsibility of teaching. These aren't gimmicks. They are a toolkit for taking conscious control of your cognitive software. They move you from hoping you'll remember to knowing how you will. The goal isn't to memorize everything, but to never feel powerless before the things you truly need to know. Your memory isn't a fixed capacity. It's a skill. And like any skill, it responds dramatically to the right technique. Start building your palaces, telling your stories, and explaining your world. You might just be surprised by how much you can hold.